Happy day, everyone. This is Becky Tovis, and I am the Crafty Chamarita. Thank you so much for joining me. Whether you're watching me live or you're catching me on the replay, I appreciate the fact that you're spending some time, you're carving some time out of your schedules to be here with me. So, something's going on with my system. My mouse is just not working on my laptop. So, I'm going to live. With my space showing. I don't normally do that, but it just makes it a little bit easier in the long run. Everything was working fine, and I stepped away to go get some water, and when I came back it was acting up. So it's like, okay, just go with the flow, right? Nothing else that we can do. We just have to go with the flow. So anyway, today I am going to be showing you a cross design. I like it because it's easier than the cross template that I was using before. So I don't know if you remember me showing you guys that. And I thought it was perfect because May is a month where there's a lot of religious occasions going on Guam. We have First Holy Communion, we have confirmation, and this design lends itself to using it for other types of cards like sympathy cards or something that is spiritual in nature. So what I'm going to be showing you today, the sentiment that I'm going to be using is really for a wedding day. So it just goes to show you can use it for anything. All right, so let me put on my eyes because it looks like Treen popped on. Hi Treen, thanks for joining me. All right, so let's get to it before anything else starts to act up with my system, right? Okay, so let me show you the card that we're going to make, and then we'll get started on making it. So this is the card, and if you notice, it folds like this. It unfolds like this. Isn't that so cool? Right? And so you can design it to match the sentiment that you need. And then, of course, you can put your writing in here, what you want to write, and then also if you want to stamp something inside. It doesn't have a lot of room, so if you do stamp something, make sure it's something small so that you still have space to write. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Some of the pieces I cut ahead of time and I stamped ahead of time just to kind of, cut down on the time that it takes to watch it. Okay, so let me start off with the card base. So the card base is going to be your standard 5.5 by 8.5, and you're going to score it at 4.25. So let's just get the scoring done with. Let me grab my scorer. I prefer using Stampin' Up! Scorer when I'm going to score just because it's a lot more precise than using the trimmer. Okay, so we're going to score it in in two areas. First, we're going to score it at, let me look at my notes here, 1 3/8. So here's the 1-inch mark, and I'm just going to count 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to score it at 1 3/8, and then I'm going to score it at 4.25. So these are the two score marks that we need to make. Okay, and let's go ahead and cut our paper. I decided to use this paper, and this is from the Brushed with Beauty. It's a very pretty pack. So I cut it at 5 and, let me make sure I get this right, 5.25 this way, just so that when I do my strips, it'll be a lot easier because I'm going to be cutting several things that are 5.25. So the first cut that we're going to make is 2 5/8. So here's 2. I like to think of 2 5/8 is a little bit more than 2 4/8, which is 2.5. So here is the 2.5 mark right here, and I'm just going to go one line down. So 2 5/8, and I'm going to make 2. I'm going to cut 2 of these, 2 and 2.5, 2 5/8. I'm going to cut 2 of these. And then I'm going to need a piece that is 1.5. Let's cut it there. Okay. All right. So that's going to be for the main part of the card. And then I'm going to cut for the cross part. And I'm simply going to turn this around, and I'm going to use this side for the cross. Now notice how the paper, this side looks directional. And it looks like it's going landscape. I don't want it to be landscape. I want it to be portrait, right? So for the tall part of the card, I'm going to turn my paper around. So this is going to be, let me make sure this is 5 and 1/4. Yep, 5 and 1/4, and then I'm going to cut 1 and 1/8. So here's one, and I move it over a little bit to get the 1/8. That's going to be for the top part, and then for the portrait size, it's going to be 1 and 1/8 by 4. So again, I'm going to cut it 1 and 1/8. And this is going to be 4. So we've got our cutting part done. All right. Now let's go ahead and start assembling the card. Okay, so you notice that I scored here. This is the score line. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fold this back, and let me just burnish it like so. And then this is going to fold forward. This is going to be the front of the card. So you're going to take your two pieces, the two big pieces. One's going to go on the front side of this panel, and the other one is going to go on the back side of the panel. Okay, so let's go ahead and start gluing that on. Did you guys like my Tuesday tip with the petunia, my sweet petunia? So I'm not using that right now because I need more glue. And the head, because you can, the needle right now is a thin skinny one. So I'm going to save that one for more precise gluing that I need. Okay, and then I'm going to do this part here. Oh, you know what? I would be a bad mom if I didn't stop to wish my son a very happy 34th birthday. He is my tech support. So whenever I have issues, I just message him and he takes over my computer so he can figure out the problem. He's the one who set up my whole system. Okay. And then this part over here is going to go on the inside. So make sure your paper is facing the right way if it's a directional piece of paper. And you're just going to kind of put it at the end, have a little bit of a border there going. And there you go. Okay, let's go ahead and put on the cross part. And I'm going to use the solid part of the DSP. And I kind of like this side because it looks like it could pass for kind of like a tree trunk, right? A green tree trunk. It works. Okay, so that's going to go here. And there's another piece. I pre-cut it, but I'll let you know what the dimensions are. This is going to go across. So this piece here is 1 3/8 by 4 1/4. So if you notice in the description, I put the measurements down. Now, normally if you're using the white base, use the thick white cardstock because this part is going to get the most action when you open it and close it. So you want it to be a little bit thicker. But I don't have the thick vanilla, so I'm just using the regular cardstock for that. And again, I'm going to make sure that I glue the right side because I want the solid green to show. And I did cut it the right way because I knew it was going to go sideways. And I'm going to cheat a little bit. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball. There's my term again. Oh, my DSP is a little bit crooked. Can I fix it or is it glued down? It's glued down. Okay, maybe if I turn it this way, it won't show so much. Okay, so for this part here, I recommend that you use tear and tape to put it together because you need something a little bit stronger, right? So I've got my tear and tape here. I'm going to eyeball it, and I think I want it more on the upper quadrant of the card. I don't want it to be in the middle, because when you see crosses, they're never equally aligned. The one that goes horizontal is a little bit higher. So I think this is the right placement. So I'm just going to kind of put my finger here, so I know stay within that area. Don't go above my finger. Okay, it looks like I need both fingers. So I'm just going to put my tear and tape there so that I know what area it's going to be. Okay. And then let me do another piece. Let's take out the back side here. And let's put it on. This is sticking out a little bit, so I'm just going to push it in. Okay, I can't, if I bend down, my head is going to be in the camera. So I'm just going to pick it up just to place it. And then I'll put it back down so I can press it in. Okay. All right, that looks good. It's looking good so far, right? Okay. Now, I went ahead and I stamped this sentiment, "May your day be filled with love and happiness," because I intended this to be used for a wedding card. So I got this sentiment from the Phrases and Frames stamp set. And I forgot what was the die that I used for this. I had to cut it multiple times because it didn't quite fit. So I cut it and then I cut it again. I moved the die so it could be skinnier. So you could do that with any die. If you're finding that the die is still too big, then just move the die over so that you can make it into a smaller piece. Okay. I know doing the dimensionals is always like, okay, stick that there. I had a piece stuck to my finger, so I might as well use it. And I wish my fingernails didn't break. I was doing a lot of stuff during the craft fair and they just kept breaking one after another. Okay. Thank you, by the way, for all of you who came to the spring market vendor event at Top of the Mar. So even though, we didn't have as many vendors as expected, that's okay. It worked out. For those of you who were there, thank you. And what I did is I pre-cut this. This came from the same designer series paper, and I got it from the bottom of the sheet. Did I bring it over? Let me show you. Yep, I took it from the bottom of the sheet. So even though these designs are cut off because they're, either on the bottom or the side or the front, you could still use them, because look what I'm going to do. I'm going to tuck it in so that you can't see that it's cut off. So I'm just going to tuck it in there. Now this one I didn't measure it, so I may have to cut it down so that it doesn't show. This is too long. This is going to be too long. So let me just do a quick visual one. So I'm just going to cut out this flower because it's not going to all fit. So remember, when you're cutting, if you're right-handed, you're going to cut with your right hand. Use your left hand to manipulate the paper. So your left hand is the one that's actually moving. There you go. That works out. Nice. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put my glue, and I'm going to use my Petunia Pop Precision Glue. So that I get the right spot. And I'm just going to glue the bottom part here. And let me tuck it in there. And I'm going to do the same thing for this. And all I'm doing is pressing down. So if you saw my post, you would have seen that I don't really care for the glue that's in here, but I'm going to have to use it up. And then when I refill it, I'm going to refill it with Tombow because I like Tombow better. Plus, when the glue oozes out, and inevitably it always will, I can use this eraser to take out the extra glue. It doesn't work so well with the glue that's in here now. Stick that in. Oops, it moved a little bit. And ta-da! This card is done. Isn't that pretty? May your day be filled with love and happiness. So this is ready for a wedding card. I'm going to leave it blank so in case somebody else needs it and it's not going to be for a wedding but for another occasion. Like let's say they want to give it for a birthday for somebody who is very religious or spiritually filled, then they can also give this for a birthday card. So it can be used for many occasions. All right, let me show you the other cards that I made. I'll go back to the first one here. And if you are attending my class tomorrow, we're going to make this card. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to show it to you too, so that you could see it. Okay. This is confirmation. I have the sentiment for communion as well. And this one is going to be a condolence card, our sincere condolences. And then the inside I stamp sending prayers and heartfelt sympathy to you and your family. And that came from the same stamp set, the phrases and frames. I decided not to put anything else on it because the design is very busy. I wanted to keep this part very simple. Okay, and last but not least, I use the Nature's Gallery. I love this collection. It is just gorgeous. So this paper is the back side of this paper. And this one is Sending You Hugs. I'm going to use this for our card ministry submission because we're going to be making get well cards. And I didn't put anything on the inside, but I definitely will stamp that before I complete the card. And there you go. Okay, let's see if my mouse is working. Nope, every time I go to that area that I need to go to, it disappears. So anyway, I hope that I have inspired you with this card design. It's very easy to make. You can replicate it on your own using any of the designer series papers that you want. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful weekend. Bye.